Hey, everybody, I'm Scott Weichel. You're listening to MKOCRadio.com. Thanks for tuning in with us. Have a great artist from Michigan, from our home state, here with us tonight. And in a month's time, she has become a household name with country music fans. Her first major radio release, Cowboy Boots, has already charted with Airplay Direct stations, and it's one of the top 20 downloads. That's really cool. And now she is working on a new Christmas song that'll be here in time for the holidays. And she's got some great country songs and some great Christian songs, and she's here to talk about all of that today. This is Chere Pepper. Chere, how are you tonight?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you on, especially when I get to talk to somebody from Michigan. It doesn't happen very often.
I can imagine.
Well, before we talk about your songs and everything, give me a little bit of background on your history and how you got involved in our wonderful world of music.
Oh, boy. Or how music got involved with me, I don't know.
It happens that way sometimes.
I grew up, here in Michigan, but grew up listening to Loretta Lynn and Dolly Parton around age 4 and 5, and got a guitar around that time, and just started listening to the radio. And, back then you didn't have chord charts and, books where you could buy. And so I just sort of started figuring out the chords after learning a few in Brownie Scout guitar lessons, and so just kind of started studying country music, and like I said, Loretta Lynn and Dolly Parton, Emmylou Harris, all of those were my favorites, and just started playing and started writing. And by the time I was a teenager, I fronted my own country band, and didn't really put a release until I became a Christian artist, which is my early 20s. And of course, after playing the bars and doing all that from age 8 until age 20, 21, something like that, which I love to do, but, playing in churches really tugged at my heart, because the people really, they needed a message. They needed more of a purpose, as far as something positive, at that time. Of course, they still do, but so I've been in Christian music actually for over 20 years. And but my roots are pulling me back. So after 5 contemporary Christian albums up here in Michigan, you got to be a little more contemporary. But I wanted to get some of my country stuff down, and so 3 albums later, and some great Nashville players. We've got the Jesus in My Gun album released, and the single Cowboy Boots is doing really, really well. So really happy and really blessed about that.
Absolutely. It's a great song, and we've been playing it on our show quite a bit, and I know everybody's going to love it. We're going to play it again here in a little bit as well. And, Christian and country music kind of go hand in hand. They always have. And we do a Sunday gospel show that's one of our most popular shows. So there's a very strong market. And I know exactly what you're saying about working in the honky-tonks and everything. I did that for years, too, and there comes a point where you're like, I got to do something else.
Right. Not that I didn't like doing it, but it's just, when as a writer, when you just have so much in you, you just have to get it out, So.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now you write the majority, if not all, of the stuff that you record, right?
Yes, I write everything. I didn't recently learn really all the different ways of writing until I went to Nashville. When I was recording, met some people, and, they're like, hey, let's, here's how we write here. And so 3 people get together and start collaborating, and, 2 or 3 or 4 hours later, you have a song. And it was really interesting to see, I researched and found out that like 97% of writers write that way. Some write the lyrics, some write the melody, and you add a line and add a rhyme. And it was really good for me to learn that, but that's not the way I write. I've been told I'm more of a prolific writer, so when I sit down and write, it just music and lyrics at the same time. Everything comes out literally within an hour. A song is usually complete. A lot of times, less than that, but of course I'll go back and, tweak a few lines and write the bridge maybe later, but I prefer to just sit down and write on my own. And I write so much that it got to the point where I'm doing Facebook Live and just sharing my music with people, and people started giving me their poetry and songs that they've written that, of course, weren't really songs. They were more like thoughts on paper or, a poem. And because I'm primarily a ministry and primarily a Christian artist, I have a donation button on my page. So I would just say, hey, go hit up my donation button and help me out and allow me to continue to do what I'm doing, and I'll put your lyrics to music, and I've been writing songs for people. So
Wow.
just kind of another little niche I've carved out, and a couple of them have actually, we've done some videos on them, and they've turned out to be some pretty strong songs. But
That's pretty amazing.
I'm just having fun with writing.
Oh, that's great. That's really what sets apart artists that will have longevity in the business. It's the ability to write good songs, and I think that's what people are really looking for in this day and age.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I love your station, by the way. I've been listening a lot, and there's a lot of indie artists that are just really, really good. But unfortunately, sometimes the production, money-wise, you don't have all the funds to really put a lot into, a good song. And so I have a hard time listening to some of these indie stations because, maybe, I guess it's just I've been in the studio too long. You'll hear something that's a little pitchy or, a guitar that's too loud or something, and it's like, I have a hard time listening sometimes. But your station, all of your songs are just so great, and all of your indie artists. So I just want to tell you that I've really been enjoying your station.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that very much. I strive to really put good stuff on the air, and there's a lot of artists out there that are doing traditional country and gospel music, and it's really, really good. And the nice thing is, with stations like what we're doing, you've got a great platform to get your music heard all over the world. We didn't have that even 10 years ago, and so
Right.
so being an indie artist today is a lot. You have a lot more advantages than you did back then, and it's a great way for your music to get heard. And unfortunately, the mainstream radio has not latched on to that, and I think they really have missed the boat because we're kind of coming up from behind and biting them in the butt a little bit.
I agree. I agree.
And of course we have great people to work with, and I know you're working with Jennifer Chere, and she is one of the best in the business. A very good friend of mine, and I do a lot of her artists, and you are in good hands there, no doubt.
Yeah, she's been wonderful.
She's really something else. Well, tell me a little bit about your Christmas project that you're working on. I'm excited to hear about this.
Yeah, I've always wanted to put out a Christmas album, but it just I haven't written the whole album, but I had the song I wrote last year, and we laid it down at the studio up here, just kind of a little demo, and last minute just kind of here's some jingle bells, and I stopped at the dollar store on the way to the studio. And it turned out pretty good. I did it on Facebook, and everyone really liked it. And so going to Nashville, and I had a few interviews, and I have two other songs that I recorded, and I thought, let's do this Christmas song, and that's the one that really I love the most. So it's hopefully going to hit Pandora and Sirius Radio, and it's called All About Jesus. It's not about the presents you buy. It's not about the chocolate cream pie. It's not about the honey-baked ham, and it's not about a red-suited jolly man flying in a sleigh across this land. It's all about Jesus. So the lyrics are really cool and catchy, and it's a really cool song.
That's
so I'm
wonderful.
really excited about it.
That brings up an interesting point. We kind of forget what real music is about, and it's people put to music, and it's things you can identify with. And the same thing has happened with Christmas. It's gotten so commercial, and everybody's got to make a buck off of it. And you go into Walmart and you see Christmas stuff in the middle of July.
Right.
And so getting back to the message of what it's really about. I mean, it's all Santa Claus and all that stuff. It's all great, and I'm not against that by any means. My daughter gets excited about that stuff, but you got to take time to step back and remember what it's really for. And that's
Right.
I think that's what you've done with this song, and I applaud you for that.
Right. Thank you.
And you are also considered for a Grammy Award too. I understand. That's really cool.
Yeah. After my fifth contemporary Christian album, Armor of God, the album itself was up for the Grammy nomination for Album of the Year, and then there were two songs on there up for Song of the Year. One of them, which was really more of a, I want to call it more of a contemporary / alternative on that line, and it's called Jesus, Jesus. And we did a video on that one, And then the other one, of course, was Armor of God, based on Ephesians 6, putting on that full armor of God. So I still share those two songs. I mean, I'm still sharing off that album, even though I've put out 4 albums since then. It's just crazy, the amount of recording I've been doing. But, yeah, really a strong album. I mean, all 10 songs are really, really strong. There is one song on that album that I wrote with a friend of mine. His name is Michael Cole. And he wrote the melody, and all he had was the first lyric, and it was, I've got a picture of Jesus hanging on the wall. And I just kind of ran with it. We were practicing one day. I do some church services, with other people and other artists, and so we were just kind of practicing, and he was playing this beautiful melody on the piano, and I had my digital recorder going. And so I captured that, and he told me, he had the one line. And that's a song that I'd really like to re-record at some point. But that's one of the only songs I've written just a handful of songs with other people, but I'd say that he's probably the person I've written, the strongest songs with, and I think we've got like 3 together.
Oh, that's great.
But that one's on that album as well.
Well, great. Folks, you can go to CherePepper.com. We'll have that information on our Facebook page, and you can check out all of her great music and get her albums there and find out where she's going to be and all that fabulous stuff. And tell me about the song Sunshine.
Yeah, Sunshine, actually, now that I'm thinking of it, I think that's on my 3rd album, and I hadn't performed that song in 20 years. But it's just a song about sharing who we are and using the gifts and talents that God gives us. And when my radio promoter, he listened to, all of my stuff, and he says, I really think this one is good to push to Christian radio. And I thought, wow, that's an old song. But then, when you bring things back to your mind and listen to it, it's like, that really is a good song. I can see why he chose that one. So, yeah, I'm really excited that one is out there. I had to kind of refresh my memory of how it goes, because I tend to remember everything. And I've always said I've forgotten more songs than I can remember. So I think like 4 years ago I started writing them all down, at least, putting the chords and the lyrics. But, yeah, that's a great song as well. I'm not sure what we're going to push to Christian radio after that one, but I kind of want to have one in both markets at all times, because, I work in both markets. So I'm in churches on Sunday, and I do weddings. Like I've got 2 weddings coming up this Saturday, and next Saturday I do all the music during the service itself, and then sometimes, during the dinner or afterwards. And then I also work in rodeos and, private parties and, benefits and fundraisers. I do a few pubs. So I'm just very blessed to be able to have material in both markets, both the country market as well as the Christian market.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Tell me a little bit about your husband and your family.
Well, I always, I've got 4 boys, but I have 5 boys,
Yeah.
including my husband, because I married my high school sweetheart, and we have a shoeing business here in Michigan. So a farrier business. So he shoes horses, and I'm a full-time musician. So sometimes during the week I have to go with him, and we have to catch the horses and halter the horses and hold them, and he trims them up. And so I actually have him in my Cowboy Boots video, which was recorded at my friend's house in Nashville. And so he's got his horseshoeing truck there and his chaps on, and he actually trims up our friend's horse.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, just very blessed to be working with my husband and our 4 boys now. One's married, 2 are engaged to be married, and I've got 2 little grandbabies, and they're all grown now on their own. So I have the time to, as well as my husband, we can just get in the car and go somewhere for 3 or 4 days and do a little weekend tour. So that's what we tend to do, and we're heading for Florida again. We've been going to Florida every year. He doesn't like the term snowbird because we're too young for that. We're trying to get out of Michigan, so we've been going December. We come back for Christmas, and then we go again in January. And this year we're going to go to Texas in February to hit some rodeos, and that little tour's coming along well. So that Jennifer's helping with that. and then back to Florida for a festival and a few churches, and then we have to be back by March 12th because my husband and I both coach track and cross country at Dansville High School. So he's the head coach and I'm the assistant coach, and we're both runners and very active in the school. And so
oh, that's great. My daughter's done cross country for the last few years. She goes to Leland School, and she absolutely loves it.
Good, and it's good for kids. You know, nowadays people don't want to work hard to achieve anything. You know, it's just we live in a society where you just have this expectancy that you're supposed to just get this. And you know, running teaches you that you run hard and you train, and your times come down, and you can self-achieve. And it's one of the only sports that you can get a full ride scholarship just off of based on your times. And a lot of people don't realize that. Hard work.
Yes, it is, but very well worth it. That's fantastic. Well, again, folks, it's CherePepper.com. We'll have that information on our Facebook page. She is also on Facebook under Chere Pepper Music, and I encourage you to go and see her if you get a chance, and please pick up some of her great music. And, of course, we're going to play some of that music for you now. And, Chere, it's been a pleasure talking with you. I wish you the very best, and you are welcome on my show anytime.
Well, thank you so much, Scott. Really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so very much. Chere Pepper right here on My Kind of Country, MKOCRadio.com. We're going to play some of Chere's great music for you right now as we continue.
I was born with a cowboy hat, faded jeans, and I learned to act like a little lady really should. I got southern blood running through my veins, the younger brothers and Jesse James, cousins on my daddy's side, it's understood. I got everything I'll ever need in life, I count my blessings every night. I don't need no city boy loving me, I'm a southern girl from my head down to my feet. I love cowboys and country songs, I like swimming down in the creek, my bikini on, feeling mud under my feet. And I like having fun all night long. There's only one last thing I'll need when this life is through. I wanna be buried in cowboy blues. Quarter Cherokee on mama's side, I was raised with southern pride, and I love the red, white, and blue, yeah. Put a 6-string in my hand, I'll write a song about the promised land, 'cause I love Jesus through and through. I got everything I'll ever need in life, I count my blessings every night. I don't need no city boy loving me, I'm a southern girl from my head down to my feet. I love cowboys and country songs, I like swimming down in the creek, my bikini on, feeling mud under my feet. And I like having fun all night long. There's only one last thing I'll need when this life is through. I wanna be buried in cowboy blues. Life's been good to me so far, this I know. I got me a country boy to love and hold. Just lay my Bible and my guitar on me when life is through, and be sure to bury me in my cowboy blues. I don't need no city boy loving me, I'm a southern girl from my head down to my feet. I love cowboys and country songs, I like swimming down in the creek, my bikini on, feeling mud under my feet. And I like having fun all night long. There's only one last thing I'll need when this life is through. wanna be buried in cowboy blues. Yeah, you know the ones with the little silver buckle. And don't forget my guitar. I wanna be buried in cowboy